So there are a lot of new people here today, and there have been a lot of new people over the last few weeks. And also, even when you've been sitting for a little while, there can be this sense of like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing during these long silent periods? And so I would like to just dip in and review a little bit how this particular practice goes. People have a lot of different meditation practices. Here in this group, we practice Vipassana, which means insight in Pali, the language that the Buddha taught in. And the focus of Vipassana is insight. So, what are we up to here? We're trying to get out of the way of the wisdom that might help free us from suffering. And very thankfully, we don't have to figure that out on our own. There has been a lot of guidance. And there are a lot of ways to sit. But the main way that we do it is to practice with mental noting. So this is a little unusual for us. Usually we're sitting a little bit longer before you hear my voice, but I want to break up the talk so that we have room to practice a few times in the middle. So let's begin with how we begin. This is what most guided meditations help you to do. And the first thing we do is settle. Sometimes just sort of sitting comfortably, letting your mind and body arrive in the same place. And what we're looking for here is a reasonable amount of comfort. There is no, unfortunately, totally comfortable position. You will not find a position that you can sit in comfortably forever. It really is about how your body likes to sit or stand or lay down. I spent like the first, 7 years of my practice trying to make my body sit cross-legged on the floor. And my practice didn't really start until a teacher told me, hey, why don't you sit in a chair? So you can sit with your eyes open or closed, whichever is more comfortable. If your eyes are open, it's good to rest them sort of gently on something in front of you. And as you settle, pay attention to what expectations are here. Because expectations are where dukkha is born. Dukkha, the suffering that we're trying to get free from, dukkha is the suffering that comes from things not being the way you want them to be or the way you think they should be. So just check out your expectations. Are there things that you think should be a certain way here? Are there things that you think you should be doing? Are there things that you want to be different? Just be aware of those. That's the first thing we do, is settle. The next thing we do is gather. Gather the attention, which for me anyway, often feels like it's sort of like flinging off of my body in lightning bolts. See if you can gather the attention in, mindful of expectations, how you think it should be. Being mindful of expectations means being mindful sometimes of inner criticism, right? If you're already having thoughts like, this isn't how it's supposed to be, it's not how I'm supposed to do it, I wish I were different than I was, be mindful of that. So we settle, We gather. And now that you're here, we scan. Get the lay of the internal land. What's here now that I'm here? You may also ask the question, what wants my attention? What is vying for my attention? Some feeling in my body, some thought in my mind. It's not bad for things to want attention. Just note that that's happening. For many people, it's useful during this scan to check out your jaw. Your jaw is attached to your skull. You don't have to hold it there. Sometimes we act like we do. Is there more holding in the jaw than is necessary? Let's check it out. And if you're thinking, I should be able to loosen my jaw and I can't, there's one of those expectations. Just note that. Another useful thing to check out is the shoulders. Remember, your arms will hang off your collarbones even if you don't hold them there. Are you holding more than you need to? And because our beautifully designed brains have a negativity bias, it can also be useful to intentionally look for anything that might be pleasant. Maybe your hands feel nice where they're sitting, or maybe the ground is holding you up in a way that's pleasant, or maybe your clothes are soft against your skin. And as you're scanning, notice what expectations are here. We've already had 3 pretty good chances to observe dukkha in operation. We might have already been able to see ourselves suffering, wanting things to be different than they are. You may even have experienced what the Buddha called dukkha dukkha, which is the dukkha of noticing how much you put yourself in dukkha. And we haven't even really started yet. So once you have settled, gathered, and scanned, you can start working with your anchor. The traditional anchor is breath, but breath is not a good anchor for everybody. There are some people who, if they pay attention to their breath, the breathing gets out of control, or they even can have panic responses. If that's you, please don't use the breath as the anchor, or don't try to. Remember, the Buddha said, ehipassiko, try it out. What's good is what you notice is good for you. So ask, what's a good anchor for me? It might be just sounds in the room. It might be sensations in the body. Maybe you work with a short, simple mantra. But what you need is a good enough anchor. No anchor is perfect. If you have one that's good enough, good. You just need one that won't freak you out and that it helps you sit. If breath is available to you, use breath. You have a few options about how to use breath as an anchor. You can observe breath going in and out and label it in, out. What do I mean by observe? I mean, pay attention, and I mean that in two ways. One, by not losing track of it, really trying to follow it, really staying with what's happening. Now I'm breathing in, now I'm breathing out. And the other thing that I mean by observe is by being open to what that is like. Noticing the qualities of your breath, like, oh, it's shallow, it's deep. Air coming through my nose is cool, but going out is warm. My breath feels tingly and my breath feels rough. Being curious about what is actually here as you notice in and out. And if you really struggle with that in out, Ehipassiko, try dividing the breath into four. For some people, it's easier to notice the air coming in through the nostrils. One, filling the body. Two, turning to go out of the body. Three, and leaving through the nostrils. Four. If you notice that you have to control your breath to make it do that, that's probably not the one for you. Either way, you're noticing, not losing track, and offering interest. Your interest and your anchor should not be obsessive. You're not trying to catch every little detail. And it also shouldn't be vague, just sort of in a rote way saying in, out, while you think about something else. The quality we're looking for is like watching a kid play from a park bench. You don't have to catch and understand and dig into every little thing the kid does, but you also don't want to be distracted. Again, you want good enough breathing. 1, 2, or 4 parts. They're all good. Just find the one that gets the job done. It is not possible that there is a perfect breath for you and you can't do it until you find it. You just need good enough. For some people, it's useful to count the breaths, like 1 and 2 and. Or some people count in 1, out 1. Counting breaths is fine, but it does have a trap, which is that you can start getting hung up on accumulation of how many breaths you pay attention to. So don't keep counting higher and higher. Count to 7 and then start again. 7 is a good enough number. I tested it out. That's the foundation of what we're doing when the silence begins. We settle, we gather, we scan, and then we attend to the anchor. Let's try that out for a little while. Settle, gather, scan, anchor. That's the foundational task. But everyone who has done this even a little knows that we rarely stay on the anchor very long. If you do, that's fine, that's good. Keep doing it, but many people do not. So we're sitting there attending to the anchor with gentle, non-obsessive attention. And probably some processes are happening at the same time that are not enough to take us away from the anchor, like little stray thoughts or hearing the trolley or having pain in your knee. But we're still attending to the breath at the same time, and that is fine. That's part of it. And then other times we realize suddenly that we were paying attention to the anchor and now we're not. Sharon Salzberg calls this moment when you realize you're not attending to the anchor anymore, the magic moment. And that's for a few reasons. One is because it's a moment of mindfulness. The minute you realize that you weren't paying attention, you're paying attention again. That's mindfulness. And that's what we're here to practice. So good. Another great thing about that moment is that it allows for other important kinds of practice related to vipassana or insight. So the first gift that this moment gives us is it shows us our natural habitual reaction. Maybe you notice that you lost the anchor and you go, oh, what is wrong with me? I can't even pay attention for 3 breaths. And if that's what is coming up, you might have a habit of self-criticism. Or maybe you lose the anchor and you go, okay, that was bad. I got lost quickly there, but I'm going to start again. And this time I'm going to stay on it for at least 10 breaths. And if that reaction comes up a lot, maybe you have a self-improvement habit. Or maybe you lose the anchor and you go, oops, okay, lost it there. Good job noticing, start again. And maybe you have a self-parenting habit. We're not here to analyze the habits. The point is not that one reaction is good and another one is bad. The point is that this is really good information about your habits. The moment when you realize you've been distracted is an awesome time to see yourself react in real time. Something unskillful that can happen with that moment, though, is that you can notice the habit and then spin out thinking about your habits and judging them and thinking about how you want to change them. Dukkha. It's more skillful to notice the habit and move on if you can. The practice of mental noting trains you to do just that kind of noting. So as you're practicing, when something pulls your attention away from the anchor, the instruction is to name what it was. That's sound. That's back pain. That was a thought. And it's good to do that when you notice you're distracted too. Oh, that was thinking. But maybe you're more habituated to say, oh, that was goddamn thinking again. And if that happens, then you know judgment. And you head back to the anchor. We're trying to stop at naming and not go on to analysis, which is really hard. And sometimes you can't do it. And if that happens, note it. Oh, that's analysis. That's stuckness. Until you can get yourself back to the anchor. Okay, if you're not settled, go ahead and give yourself another little settle. And once you're settled, gather the attention. And we're just gonna scan and note. So scan what's here. And when you scan, rather than phrasing it, my knee hurts, try to just note pain. Try to take yourself and the narrative out of it. So rather than noting, I'm thinking about lunch, just call it thinking. Just note what's here. Now go ahead and find your anchor. Put your attention on the anchor. And maybe some little notes are coming up as you're on the anchor. In, out, sound, in, pain, out. If something arises and it doesn't pull you off the anchor, you can just note it. It's fine, it's part of it. And if you find you've completely gone off somewhere, you're not attending to the anchor anymore, note mindfulness and whatever else comes with it, doubt, frustration, humor, and then head back to the anchor. You will get lost and come back thousands of times. This is the practice.